Hello.
Hey.
Hey. So, okay. How to... So, I'm gonna finish setting up the normal mode, and I need at least 1,000 arrows on normal mode. So, what I'm gonna do is... actually, let me eat that. I don't want food there. I'm gonna break 3 slots with these items. And then what I'm going to do is transfer either a weapon or a bow back onto the save file. And what that'll do is it'll push this traveler's bow that's going to be on the save file 1 slot to the right, which will line it up with arrows. So when you transfer an item into a save file, at the moment when the game first loads, the inventory that you see in this pause menu and a representation of the inventory in the game's memory are out of sync. So in one part of the game's memory, it still thinks like the things it loaded in are exactly what it looks like on the save file, but then the visible inventory is slightly different. So if we get the visible inventory in such a way so that like a piece of equipment is aligned with the slot of some other item, the game will sort of erroneously transfer durability to both of them, if that makes any sense. If not, ask a question. But like, so that's the basic plan right now, is to break 3 slots and transfer one, either a bow or a weapon, onto the save file. Sean, do you know the arrowless way to break slots? Or should I go over
Sorry,
it?
I keep clicking the wrong thing, doesn't even, I've seen it done, but I don't actually know it.
Okay, so I'll go through the steps of it. So it's called arrowless because you can technically do it without arrows. I have arrows here, but they're not like important to the setup, and it doesn't involve any kind of menu overloading whatsoever. So the first thing to do is to enter a weapon hold smuggle, which is just like what we do for transporting the blue flame. That part you're familiar with, right?
Yeah,
Okay, so I just did.
I'm familiar with that.
So I did the same things there, and then you're gonna hold. Same thing with breaking slots with menu overloading. You're gonna hold however many items equal to the number of slots you want to break, and you need at least 2 of each of those items. But then there's also an option to hold an additional item as a safety check, because what's coming up is a frame perfect input to speak to the shopkeeper, and if you miss it, you don't break slots. So the safety item is an item that you have exactly 1 of, and if you hold it in addition to the other items, there'll be something you're able to look out for when you're selling, tell you whether or not you got the right frame. Okay, so I'm breaking 3 slots. I'm going to hold the pepper and the 2 shrooms, and then the ruby is going to be my safety check item. And once they're held, I'm going to hold ZL, equip shield, and equip a one-handed weapon. So this setup requires a one-handed weapon. If you already have a one-handed weapon equipped, you just like equip off of it and then equip back onto it. And what you should see is that Link is just holding everything in front of him. Like his shield is out, he's holding the 3 items, and the weapon is out. And then what you're going to do is you're going to jump, let go of ZL, and then pause with the quick menu. So jump, let go, and pause. And what I'm looking for is a frame where Link is on the ground and putting away his shield. So pause, 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 like right there. And I'm going to unequip my shield when he's in one of those frames. It's a pretty lenient window that you can do. Some people even do it just completely bufferless, like they just time it like a bufferless ESC. But right now, like Link's in an animation where he's trying to put away the shield. He's trying to do a bunch of things, and if you unequip the shield at this very moment, it interrupts everything from happening. So what you'll see is Link still has the like throw the stuff on the ground circle thing in front of him. The items are stuck to his hand right now, and the one-handed weapon is still there. Okay, so he's in this state where he's like he can freely move around, and he's still holding the items, and he can target a shopkeeper. And so this next input, this is the frame perfect input. I'm gonna press ZR and A, one right after the other, and it's basically I think a 2 frame separation between them. It's the same rhythm as a super launch. So ZR and then A really quickly right after the other. And what that's going to do is, let me back up and explain. Right now, like I can't actually talk to this shopkeeper. Like I'm pressing A here, and the game won't let me talk to the shopkeeper because I'm holding on to some items. But when I press ZR, Link is going to take out his bow, and the game's going to say like, okay, drop everything that's in your hand. But then there's like 1 frame where I can talk to the shopkeeper while the items are still in Link's hand, and that's the frame I'm looking for. Okay, so I just ZL target the shopkeeper just to in case there's anything else like the Link could activate, and then ZR and A really fast. Okay, and so you enter the cell menu, and here's where the safety check item comes in. If the safety check item is grayed out and says ×0, it means you got the right frame. If this item is not in the inventory, that means you missed the right frame. Okay, so right now the ruby being grayed out and saying X0 tells me that Link is still technically in a state where he's holding on to these items in his hands. And so the game is still sort of reserving a space in the inventory for the ruby. But I can also talk to the shopkeeper, and so from here I'm going to sell everything. Okay. And then everything falls to the ground. Everything falling to the ground takes the place of the step in menu overloading breaking slots where you like pick up an item and throw it on the ground. So like I've sold off everything, I've dropped everything on the ground. I have 3 slots now broken. Okay.
Nice.
Did all that make sense?
Yep. Okay. And I've seen a tutorial on that a while ago, so this is really just a refresher. I've just never actually tried it.
Okay.
So.
All right. So so my goal is to transfer a bow or a weapon, but if I count 3 slots to the right from the right of my inventory, like that reaches the pot lid. If I drop the pot lid, then the next thing to the right is the arrow. So how am I going to transfer a bow or a weapon over? Well, one thing that breaking slots does is it offsets the number of slots the game thinks are in the inventory with the number of slots that are actually in the inventory. So right now the game thinks, right now, let's see, there's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 slots filled in my inventory, but the game is going to think it's actually 8 minus 3 or 5, right? So that means if I drop 5 items, right, now there are only 3 slots in my inventory, the arrow, the slate, and the glider. So actually, the game now thinks my inventory is empty. And the way you can actually see that is if I exit the menu and come back in, I won't see anything, right? No key items here, no arrows here, right? And the reason why I don't see anything is when I enter the pause screen, the game checks the variable that keeps track of the number of slots that are filled in the inventory. It sees it's 0 right now and says like, oh, like I'm not going to bother showing you anything. I'm just going to show you kind of the default screen. Okay. In this state, there's also like a kind of a neat thing that happens, which is if I pick up a bow, right? The game thinks my inventory is empty and I just pick something up. So the game says, well, this is obviously the first item you just picked up. So there's no reason for me to like sort your inventory in any way. So here's what happens. My bow is here. I'm going to page left now. And to the left of my bows are the key items. And if I keep going left, there are the arrows that I had from before. So now I have a bow. The rightmost item in my inventory is a bow, followed by the slate and the glider. So now if I reload a save file, the things that are going to get transferred are the traveler's bow, the paraglider, and the Sheikah slate.
And you just unequipped the bow? Is that a necessary step?
Yeah, I'm going to unequip the bow because the durability transfer that I want to take place is with the equipped bow that's on the save to the arrows that are on the save. Okay. And durability will only transfer for equipped items. So if this is equipped and I transfer it, the game will assume this is the bow that's supposed to be equipped to Link, and I don't want that to happen. So I'm going to unequip it, and then I'm going to load back into my save file from before. Okay, so I'm getting a change bow pop-up. Even though I technically on this save file have never picked up a second bow. And that just tells me this has been successful. So I can safely at this point pause and not ruin the desync that I've been going for. But basically, you'll see this bow that I'm highlighting, this is transferred from the previous save. This was the one that was loaded in from the save. Okay. So my visible inventory looks like this now, but the game still thinks this inventory looks like it did originally on the save that only had the single traveler's bow. So when these are offset, basically the traveler's bow that I'm highlighting right now, that's currently equipped, is lined up with the arrows that are actually on the save file. I don't have the simulator like visual to show you, but does that make sense? Like this traveler's bow is not in the location that the game thinks it's in. It's actually in the location that the game thinks arrows are in right now.
Yep, that makes sense.
Okay. And briefly, when I was on the overworld, the game is constantly sending like updated durability information into memory. And so it's sending the durability information of the bow into where it thinks the bow is, but where arrows actually are. So right now, the durability information of the bow is being written onto the arrows. And the way I'm going to see that is, first I'm going to save. And then let me just check. I'm going to dupe some stamella shrooms, which is fine. Okay. And then I'm going to reload back into this save. So I saved on like the desynced state. So durability got written to arrows, and now reloading that save will show me the corruption there, right? So now I have 2,100 arrows.
Cool. And because you still had one corrupted slot, you ended up duping the mushrooms. Is that what you were talking about?
I ended up duping the mushrooms. Oh, I ended up with 999 spicy peppers too. That's because the shield got lined up with the spicy peppers.
Ah.
Okay.
Oh, so if we just put some fairies there instead, we could have gotten 999 fairies.
Right. Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
Oh,
yeah.
Cool.
Okay, so that completes the setup for this save file. So I have 4 weapons. I have a bow, over 1,000 arrows, I have a pot lid that has full durability, and now I'm gonna sell off all. Oops. I'm gonna sell off all my materials because I want the materials tab to be empty on this save. And I'm selling them because I can't drop 999 in time.
Right. Yep. And if we have to sell them anyway, there's no point in doing the fairies then. Okay.
Well, yeah, so this is just a normal mode file. This is just a support file, right? We're not really doing the 999 challenge here. So I'm going to save on that state. And then I don't want to carry any, for demonstration purposes, I don't want to carry any broken slots over. And then I'll show you my master mode file. Okay, so here's my master mode file. I have one of every single material on this file. Okay, and so the idea is we're going to transfer stuff to normal mode, corrupt it there, transfer it back to master mode. So first thing I need to do is I need to break 6 slots here, and I'm going to do it with the gems here.
Any specific reason the gems were the ones you chose to get more than one of?
Swag.
For the corruption?
Just swag. That might like scrap items are like some of the most valuable items in the game.
Oh.
Okay, so what I'm doing here is just you can break slots more than once using this method if you have 3 or more of the item. So like I started with 3 or more topaz, ruby, and diamond, and I'm gonna like throw 3 of them on the ground right there just to store them. I'm gonna hold topaz, ruby, diamond, and sapphire will be my check item. And I'll go through the inputs here. Okay, so like I uncut pretty late there, and that still worked. So okay, so sapphire is grayed out and zeroed, so that means I hit the right frame. So I'll sell all of these. Okay, so I have 3 broken slots now. And now, if I pick these up and these up, I once again have 2, 2, 2, and 1. So I can break 3 more slots with these same items. So, hold smuggle again. Hold these. Okay, so 1, 1, 1, 0. So, right frame again. Okay. So I have 6 broken slots now. So if I go to load normal mode, I'm going to transfer slate glider and then shaft, core, giant ancient core, and wood. Right? Yeah.
Right.
So return to title screen. Normal mode. Let's see. Continue. Okay, and so now in my normal mode file, I have the shaft core, giant ancient core, and wood here. Okay. You asked about what like sync game data means in the simulator. Basically, just like when I did the corruption, right now there's a desync between what I see in the inventory and what the game thinks the inventory has. So sync game data is just take an action that forces the game to line them up again. And the things that would line it up would be unpausing here. Now they're completely lined up. You could just open the quick menu and close it. That would also line them up. Um, if you go into like any tab and like sort them and like use the sort function, that will also line them up. So like take any action that would like get the game to sync its representations of the inventory in different places. And that's because I want to actually make a save with the transferred items. Like if I loaded in the file and just saved without taking any other action, like those items would not actually be put into the save file because the game like technically doesn't know they're there yet. If that
Okay.
makes sense. Okay.
Now, did you have 3 wood in the master mode file?
I did, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is it supposed to be 3 or does
No, it doesn't
matter?
have to be 3. I just had 3 because I was setting campfires to farm dragons and things like that.
Okay. So
But
when you said you need to have 1 of everything, it's really not that important that it's only 1 of
it's
each?
at least one of everything. Well, yeah,
Oh,
basically like you can start this process before you have one of every item. It's just like you can just farm everything in master mode first before starting this process. Like I
right.
also have like
Okay.
900
Just
fairies on my master file. It won't mess anything up here.
right. Okay.
Um,
You just needed clarification that you could have more than 1. That I was unclear on that. I thought it had to be exactly 1 on everything.
yeah, at least one of everything. Okay.
Cool.
All right. So now I've created a save file with these items. Now, I want to transfer 4 weapons now onto the save file, because if I transfer 4 weapons, this weapon here that I have equipped is going to get pushed down 4 slots. So is the bow, so is the arrow, and so is the shield. And if all of them get pushed down 4 slots, they're going to be lined up with these 4 materials, right? The weapon will be lined up in this slot, followed by bow, followed by arrow, followed by shield, right? And so, like, the durabilities of the equipment will transfer over, and then, strangely enough, shooting an arrow transfers arrow count. So the fact that we have 2,100 arrows would transfer the number 2,100 to Giant Ancient Core.
Oh, okay. So that's why it just needs to be 1,000 or more.
There
Okay.
needs to be 1,000 or more. Yeah. The game caps the number of materials you have to 999. It doesn't cap the number of arrows that you get, except in some circumstances that we found. But mostly, like, it doesn't check if you have more than 999 arrows. It does check if you have more than 999 of a specific item and materials. So the way excuse me, the way we're going to transfer 4 weapons is taking advantage of the same thing we did for the bow and corrupting the arrows. So we have 6 broken slots right now. So we're going to drop. Oh, can't hold there. Put these on the ground. Okay, we don't need them anymore. Next, we're going to drop shield and drop bow. And now what I have is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 slots in my inventory with 6 broken slots. So the game technically only thinks there's like 1 slot in my inventory. So if I drop all 4 weapons here, I'm specifically doing in this corner because I just want to pick up 4 weapons now. without having to worry about whether I'm picking up the bow or a shield. I get the same situation I did when I was picking up the bow earlier. Like the weapons are now to the right of key items, and here are the arrows here. Right. So the rightmost items in my inventory are these 4 weapons now. I have 6 broken slots, so if I transfer them back into the regular save file, it's going to be these 4 weapons that get transferred, and not the arrows or anything else. Okay. Okay. So when I load in here, okay, before I open the pause menu, I'm going to remember to just shoot an arrow. Okay, to transfer the number of arrows onto Giant Ancient Core. And when I shoot the arrow, I have to make sure do not open the quick menu to check like which arrow you have equipped. Like that's a habit some people have, and doing that would mess everything up. So just shoot the arrow, nothing else. Pause. Right. I had 4 weapons. There are 8 now here because of the 4 transferred ones. And then I'm going to go directly to save. And now I want to reload. Okay. But I don't want to dupe all of this stuff, right? Because right now on the save file, there are 999 of each of these. If these get transferred, those 999 don't have room to load in. So I'm going to drop all this stuff. Still can't hold there. The advantage, by the way, of having only one of a specific item in all the slots is that it makes this dropping process faster. Okay.
Right. Yeah.
So now, if I go to reload the save, I'm going to transfer potlet. It doesn't matter what I transfer at this point because all I care about is getting the 999 of everything. So I'm just going to reload here. Okay. Now, if I go into the inventory, there we are. Shafts, cores, giant ancient cores, wood, all corrupted. Cool. All right. And now I just need to transfer it back to master mode. And so I don't have to do like anything else here. I just go to title screen.
And you're not worried about the broken slots doing anything to the master mode file?
So right now the 4 corrupted things are in the broken slots. So those are the things that are going to get transferred over into master mode. Now, master mode already has like 1 shaft, 1 core, 1 giant ancient core, 3 wood. Those won't have room to load in, but that's perfectly all right. I want the 999 stacks. And it's the 999 stacks that are currently sitting in the inventory, and like the game has forgotten to delete them, so they're transferring over. Okay, so if you look at the front of my inventory, I have shaft, core, giant ancient core, and wood. Right? And at the end of my inventory, I no longer have shaft, core, giant ancient core, and wood because the 1113 stacks that were on there, like the game didn't load them in because it realized I already had 999 of each of these.
Right.
Okay. So now remember, like this inventory is desynced with memory right now, so I can just unpause and pause to sync them back up. And I just save. Okay. So now I have 999 of each of these permanently saved on my master mode file.
And now you just repeat and grab it. We'll do the next 4.
Yeah, now if I just go straight back into normal mode. So now in my normal mode file, I've transferred Hinox guts, the other ancient parts. I still have these 999 here, sitting here from before. So what I want to do is first, and this is why being next to a shopkeeper is important, sell off all of this stuff. Because I need to clear it out of my inventory. Okay. And now I want to save on this inventory. And then go, after saving, go through the process of transferring the 4 weapons back on. Unequip. Make sure they're to the right of key items. Reload this save file. Yeah, Jason, you can sell above 999 rupees. You don't get the rupees, but they disappear from your inventory just the same. So once we reload, remember shoot, save, drop these items. I lost my place. Reload. See, I've these things corrupted. Go back to master mode.
Cool.
And if I do this 36 more times, I will have completed the 999 challenge.
Awesome. And it put on the master mode file, which is good. That was one of the things I was unclear about at the beginning as well. But cool. Well, I mean that's everything, right? There's no more to it than that, right?
It's just rinse and repeat, right? So now I have 8 items at 999, right? So sync the game data, save. So I have this permanently, and you know, I have a quiet Sunday evening. I might just do this while like watching something.
Right. Yeah. That's pretty awesome, man. That's makes makes it all seem pretty easy, actually.
It's actually, yeah. I mean, like I don't think I've ever picked up an iron shell crab before until I was making this file.
Oh, really? So when you're on the normal file and you're dropping items,
Mhm.
if you get to an item like say your fairies where you have more than one, and you know you're not going to want to drop 900 something fairies,
Yeah.
can you sell them instead of dropping them?
Yeah, you just have to get them out of the inventory in some way
Okay, cool,
in that step. Yeah.
nice. Then I should actually be able to just do this on my existing master mode file rather than have to create a whole new one. Then
Yeah, the nice as long as you
does
don't
it
have
matter?
anything else in key items
Oh,
except for slate and glider.
yeah, that's the problem.
Yeah.
So I will have to make a new one. Okay,
Um but you can have anything
cool.
to the left. You can have any armor, any shields, any all of this stuff because the broken slots will never reach the stuff and you never have to go across it.
Right, but no food or cooked items.
You should not have any food or cooked items. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Well, sweet. I'll have to, learn get those input sequences down for that overloading, which sounds like it'll be a good thing to know anyway, because it seems like a much better way to do that than the shock arrow thing.
Yeah,
So,
I think even in Hundo, we've converted to that method of breaking slots. Uh, it's a lot faster.
Yeah, definitely. Probably a lot more consistent too, because I have a hard time getting the overload to work consistently sometimes.
Yeah. I've also
All right.
I was recording all of this, so if you want the recording to go over any of the stuff, just let me know.
Oh, yeah, excellent. Yeah, would you mind just posting it in that thread that we have going?
Yeah, I'll put it on YouTube unlisted, and then I'll put the link.
Sweet. Appreciate it, Chow. This is all pretty awesome.
No problem.
Thanks for your time.
No, this was fun. All right, see ya.
Yep. See ya.